Well, former President Thabo Mbeki will be interacting with UNISA students in his capacity as the institution's chancellor during a Q&A session this afternoon. Now, Mbeki has previously used the platform to weigh in on current affairs, including the state of Eskom and doubling down on his HIV and AIDS legacy. Let's bring in Newzroom Afrika's Ziyanda Ngcobo, who is in the capital for us this afternoon, and she joins us now live. Great to see you as always, Ziyanda. And, given what I've just said about the former president using this platform to talk about issues that perhaps are in the public domain, one wonders what he will choose to discuss today in an election year.
A lot to talk about, Michelle. I mean, as we speak, we're not sure whether or not the patron of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation will even campaign for the ANC. There's been lots of debate about whether or not he'll go on the campaign trail, and this comes after he said on more than one occasion that he's not sure whether he can go out there in earnest and tell voters to actually vote for the ANC, given the various scandals. And you can imagine now that that list has been published, which still includes those nearly 100 corruption-accused senior officials to go to the National Assembly. It might be an interesting topic for the former president to touch on. He's been very clear on issues of integrity and dealing with corruption over the years, in particular during this biannual lecture named after him here at UNISA. We've also seen previously this occasion being used to talk about other matters, related to law enforcement. Lieutenant General Godfrey Labia has once also attended these lectures. Students have also raised issues about internal matters pertaining to UNISA. At some stage, the Vice-Chancellor, Nkabulo, being embattled here as well. So it's a platform where it's wide-ranging. Any question could be asked and posed towards the former president. And certainly, as you've mentioned, it's an election year, and there'll be plenty that's likely to come up from the students.
Yeah, absolutely. There's the issue of, what's happening here at home, but also what's happening on the continent, what's happening in Israel and Gaza on the Strip. Well over 30,000 people have been killed, and students will have all of these kinds of topics at hand, and they will want to get his stance on it.
Certainly, and he's always been someone in particular who's viewed as an intellectual giant when it comes to matters of the continent, but also just international affairs. I mean, when just looking at the Israel-Hamas conflict, certainly he's also weighed in on those matters. In fact, speaking about the continued stance of a two-state solution, at least on that stance, the ANC-led government has been consistent. But even on the continent, what's happening in Sudan, the former president has been quite involved in trying to find a resolution there. We can go to the eastern parts of the DRC, where they are still faced with those M23 rebels and dealing with the relations between the DRC and Rwanda. But even bringing it back home, you'll recall that just a week or so ago, the former president releasing a statement about the resolution of those truth and reconciliation cases, slating anyone who claims that it was his administration that thwarted any efforts to actually undertake that inquiry. In fact, Dumisa Ntebezo, who was a part of the TRC, saying that it's precisely because of this back and forth that perhaps an inquiry is needed to conclude those cases. So a wide range of issues that can be tackled from all angles, Michelle.
Absolutely. And in your experience, Ziyanda, are students quite switched on? And I'm sure the students who are watching this interview might feel slighted by that question.
They're very switched on, and this is why I'm saying any question could literally be posed towards the former president, whether you're talking about internal UNISA affairs or, as you've mentioned, matters far and wide from the continent and across the world. And, we could even get questions about the DA writing to the United States, asking them to come and observe our elections. So very switched on, and depending on what is a burning issue at the time that they believe the former president would be able to weigh in on with his wisdom, they will pose those questions towards him.
And let me just issue a blanket apology before I'm cancelled on social media. Ziyanda Ngcobo, thanks very much indeed for that update. She's live to us there ahead of the former President Thabo Mbeki and his interaction with UNISA students. Looking forward to that.